And now to our other top story. The CEO Summit is a gathering not only of Michigan's executive leaders, but those who spend their time immersed in the global marketplace. It's an opportunity for all to share ideas to reach a common goal. In its third year, Business Leaders for Michigan CEO Summit is once again bringing together business, community, and civic leaders to talk about moving Michigan forward. This year's theme, charting the course for Michigan's future. Dozens of CEOs, entrepreneurs, and other decision makers will participate in this one-day event to exchange ideas, network, and develop a plan to make Michigan competitive. Business Leaders for Michigan is a private nonprofit organization started back in 2009. Their goal, make Michigan a top 10 state for job, economic, and personal income growth. The group is made up of CEOs, chairpersons, or other senior executives from Michigan's largest companies and universities, all sharing the common goal, moving our state forward. And joining us now to get a sense of how competitive the state really is President and CEO of Business Leaders for Michigan, Doug Rothwell. Doug, it's always good to see you.
It's great to see you guys, too.
All right, so the goal is to make Michigan in the top 10 in terms of jobs and economy. Where are we in that goal?
Well, we made a lot of progress the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, we were dead last on a lot of metrics back in the late 2000s. Now we're kind of approaching middle of the pack of the 50 states, but you know, the message we keep trying to say is that that's okay, but it's really not good enough if you want to create more good jobs.
Doug, your organization, helped shape the policy agenda in Governor Snyder's first term when it comes to fixing the business climate. What's left to be done in this next term? What's on the top of your priority list?
Well, you probably give us more credit than we deserve, Nolan. I mean, we were certainly, hopefully helpful, but I think that what we see is we've made so much progress in kind of fixing the balance sheet of the state, tax reform, fiscal reform, that, there's always more work to be done there, but the big things really are now infrastructure and people. Fix the roads, but let's do it right. Let's not do kind of a half a loaf, and let's make sure we have both an educated and skilled workforce to fill the jobs that we're actually trying to create.
Doug, what are business leaders telling you about how well they're able to succeed in business right now with the state of where Michigan is right now? What are the kind of concerns that they have for you? And what are some of the successes they're seeing? We're finally seeing this change.
Well, I think the biggest thing is they feel like there's consistency again, there's certainty again in terms of how the state's being run. I mean, remember, you go back in the 2000s, we had 2 government shutdowns, budgets couldn't be passed, taxes were being changed. We had like 3 different changes to the corporate tax structure in a few years. That just gets business really worked up because they don't know how to plan for their future. Now, they feel like this is a solid place to do business. But as I said before, they can't get their products and people to market if the roads are like they are. And they can't get the jobs filled if they don't have more talent to fill those jobs. So that's why we got to keep working.
And those were the 2 priorities the governor mentioned after his re-election. Getting transportation built through the lame duck. I don't know if you feel that's a possibility or not. But also closing this skills gap. And that seems to be something the business community has a huge stake in and also an opportunity to help with. What role will the business community play in training Michigan workers for the jobs that we hope to draw to Michigan?
Yeah, I think they're absolutely doing it and will do more. I mean, for example, I think for getting more of an emphasis on vocational education in the K-12 system, I think business wants to provide co-ops and things like that if the school system will make that more of an emphasis in their educational curricula. I think that you look at workers that are already in the workplace. I mean, business is going to fund the bulk of the training that needs to be done, but in some cases you do need a little state assistance to jumpstart those efforts, and Michigan has really cut back on those over the last decade with all the budget problems we had. The next one, though, is you got to make college more affordable. I mean, we keep saying, look, we need more educated and skilled workers. It's not an either or. You need both. And that means you got to do what we did last year, which is for the first time keep the cost of college below the rate of inflation. You do that for a period of years, you're going to get more people going to college and more people graduating from college, which is so important.
I want to talk a little bit about Detroit and the fact that it is now emerging from bankruptcy. How does Detroit's continually evolving story affect business around the rest of the state?
It's huge, and I think it's a reason why you saw business leaders from throughout the state. In many respects, West Michigan was as supportive or more of Detroit getting out of bankruptcy, and I think it's because it does affect the image of Michigan. I mean, You guys travel all the time. You go outside the state, it's Detroit that's our brand. More than the Michigan name is our brand. And I think business gets that, and that's why everybody's rooting for the city. We just had our board meeting down here a couple months ago. Took them all Midtown, downtown, Riverfront. I mean, I never saw a group of business leaders more charged up in my life. And these were folks from throughout the state. So it is great to see that we've come together and embraced the city.
How confident are you that the city can capitalize on this and do what it needs to do?
Well, short term, pretty optimistic, because there's such a consensus among business and foundation leaders to make it happen. So I feel pretty good about Midtown, downtown. You know, the neighborhoods are really what I worry about more long term, and I think it's right that the mayor is spending most of his time focused there. I think the business and foundation community will take care of the downtown. It's the neighborhoods we need to focus on.
All right, Doug Rothwell, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.